Welcome back to another episode of Tactical Onion. Today we're going to do a detailed breakdown on my understanding of the action phase system. That's how initiative is handled and whatnot. Done a lot of reading, a lot of analysis, a lot of looking at how this whole thing works, and I think I have a good grasp on it. Coming from things like Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and even Shadowrun, it's a little trickier. There's a little bit different system, and I want to be able to explain it clearly and concisely so that anybody, including the players I wish to entice to play this game, understand what the heck's going on. Okay, so first things first, this is once again the cathedral with the Saracens. I've added a couple others that you can't see that are over here and over here because of these guys have a light source. This is a darkened cathedral, so even if it is lighter outside, the cathedral itself is darker. This is just kind of my combat arena to test this game out. That being said, I did make I'm calling it, the Action Phases Initiative and Rounds Idiot's Guide to Combat, and this is for my players and myself. Just kind of as a constant reminder. Of course, it's going to have problems. So, the basic idea is each round is 5 seconds. Each round has 4 phases. Characters begin each round with 4 action points. Most actions cost 0 to 4 action points. There are some that cost more than that you would do over multiple rounds. Like if you're going to try to pick a lock, it's like 20 action points to pick a lock. So try not to do that during a fight. Anyway, you may spend, quote unquote, 1 action point per phase. I think you're supposed to be spending an action point every phase. Put that in quotes because I wanted to explain, like, my understanding of it is if 2 characters are toe-to-toe and fighting, so they're both within melee range, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna swing and I'm gonna give it my all. It's like I'm fully committed. I'm gonna use all 4 action points. Cool. And the other character does the same thing, then there's really no problem. At the 4th phase, both people swing and resolve their attacks. Where it gets tricky is if Fighter McKills a lot and Orkim Von Splat, these are my 2 example characters, if they are toe-to-toe and Fighter decides I'm going to do a 4 action point attack and Orky goes, well, I'm going to attack beforehand, so I'm going to do a quicker attack, so it's like a 2-point attack. He suffers like negative 50 on the roll, but he attacks first. And that's not a problem. That's still easy to get behind. What gets a little tricky is what happens if Orc goes, screw this, I'm out, and he spends the first 2 action points and in the first 2 phases to step away, get 10 feet away, assuming Orc has a base movement rate of 20, so 20 divided by 4 is 5, so he goes 5 feet the first phase, 5 feet the second phase. He's now 10 feet away from Fighter McKills a lot. Now Fighter McKills a lot is like, well, my entire action is useless. That's one of the things that we're going to be discussing probably a little bit later on in this demonstration. So yeah, I wrote up and kind of did this whole summary, what happens during phases. And again, it's like the Initiative and Rounds for Dummies primer. Yes, Section 8 and Section 9 of Coralog goes into this in a lot more detail, but some of it gets a little fuzzy. And that might just be the fact that I'm used to other systems and I'm just not wrapping my brain around this. And I'm also approaching this from how do I explain this to my players who traditionally don't collect all the books, read everything cover to cover, because I think we're all over 30 and all have kids or lives and jobs, etc. So this is really purely recreational. So they don't have time to study like it's a high school or college final. So I'm just trying to make a cheat sheet for them. And then you got movements mentioned in here. Multiple attacks in 1 round is talked about. Combat is a flow, not a snapshot. It's kind of a rule to remember. And then I included the 8-1 action point, what things cost, so they can reference this. And I made this particular journal entry public, aka everybody can observe it. So anybody can bring that up at any time. That being said, here is the scenario. I have a fairly large party because what I'm doing is I'm creating uh, generic characters to test each spell system, each combat class, if fiddlefuts around, and basically give people a chance to try out various things and learn. So it's a rather large party. I'm probably going to turn around and make it like a 4 or 5 person party at some point. I'm going to cut this down, but I want to have a little fun with like an overwhelming force. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quote unquote player characters. They're obviously, I don't have the players on right now. So there's 7 of them. There's 3, 4, 5 Saracens. It's going to be kind of a one-sided fight because the Saracens are, I believe, level 4. Yeah, they're level 4, and the party, everybody here is level 6. So it's going to be a fairly one-sided fight on a pure numerical stance. But I want to show what happens with like a party cohesive party working together. Obviously, if one person's doing this is a lot easier to do. Single player computer role-playing games where you manage an entire party are pretty easy, right? And then you go around and try to do like a World of Warcraft raid with 39 other people. It can get tricky. Same thing here. Once the round starts, whatever plan you had beforehand gets set aside because people get excited, they forget crap. Anyway, I digress. With this, though, we have 7 player characters, and they're going to sneak up on these guys. Now, one of the things I've been thinking about is, and this is the situation, and like I'm going to digress a little bit here as well. The situation I've always thought of: how do you, in a darkened environment, quote unquote, sneak up on somebody while holding a light source? Yes, you can muffle the light source, but now it's no longer a light source, it's just a thing that's in your hand. So that's where you get the trick of stumbling around in the dark, trying to sneak up on somebody. Or do you have a lamp out? Obviously, with fantasy races that have dark vision or low light vision, these are not as big a question. But I've always kind of chuckled at the idea of the party in the middle of like a dungeon like Mori or something like that, and they're sneaking around, and the rogue is like, I'm sneaking, I rolled a nat 20. And like, yeah, but you're literally holding on to a torch. What the are you hiding behind? Anyway, setting that aside, these guys don't currently have a major light source. I added a condition on Foundry for characters that have hidden. Technically, they call it stalking. So yeah, stalking, it's right there. And it's just to indicate if they're actually like trying to hide. There really isn't a mechanic to that other than just it drops a little generic icon of 2 eyes hiding in a bush. It doesn't change anything else. Like mechanically, it's just for me to remember. And yeah, I've got 3 characters that I, previous to this, had them roll, and they all got fairly high. I think the rogue got like 151 for stalking, so I'm not really worried about the rogue. Now, that being said, the party's mission, as always, is to face off and defeat the Saracen raiders who are here to scavenge relics of historical note. And the reason why they're Saracens, they're hardcore monsters and whatnot, is because in the setting that I'm developing, Sword and Crescent, it takes place in a dark fantasy historical period that is historically mirroring the First Crusade. So you've got those kinds of bad guys. You've got the question of like, are the Crusaders the good guys? Are the Muslim warriors the good guys? Who's the good? It's supposed to be like a morally gray. I'm designing it to be a morally gray, kind of messed up. There are no heroes. Classic story. Anyway, so yeah, while I'm learning the system, I'm kind of building this particular campaign at the same time. Alrighty, so hence I had to make some Saracens. Alrighty, let's see. So the party here is gonna advance forward. Now, time-wise, it takes a long time for stealthy boys to actually move. Now, in real combat, this is more of a problem, but in this situation, uh, this is a party where you're going to have the rogue, the ranger, and the monk, who are the sneaky, we're not wearing a lot of heavy armor people. They're going to scout ahead. They're going to position themselves in advantageous positions, and then the rest of the party is going to come up and probably trip an alarm, but we'll see. So, normally, the movement for creeping is like 1/8 your frickin' movement rate, so it's not a whole lot. Uh, yeah, it's really not terribly useful in actual combat, but we're just gonna assume that everybody's hanging out for a while. Well, these stealthy boys get a little closer. Right, so the idea here is I'm going to have the rogue try to sneak his way over here where this fallen pillar is, because that he can kind of line of sight. He has something to block the line of sight of the bad guys, and he doesn't know this guy's here, but he knows these guys are here, so he's going to go this way. His idea is to come around, go this way, and come up, but obviously when he hits here, he's going to see this dude and be like, oh, okay. And then the ranger is probably going to draw a bead on one of these guys with their discussed plan to, hey, I'm going to sneak up here, I'm going to get up here, and I'll attack this guy. You attack one of the other ones. Ranger probably has a clear line of sight on this guy, so the ranger's probably decided this is his target. And the warrior monk, sorry, I've been dealing with a cold, so I like cough a lot. The warrior monk is just positioning himself to be the first surprise attack melee guy as the Saracens charge down. He's basically here to just be a blocker, essentially. That being said, the rest of the party is going to move a little ways down here. Now, I want to bring up, I'm actually going to put the cleric behind with the mage here and the sorcerer here. This is your classic diamond protection thing, where you've got the melee guy in the front, you've got the squishies in the middle, and yes, the cleric is also a squishy, but the squishy has armor. Now, normally there is a possible problem of these guys, the bad guys, having line of sight with these people coming down, but I wanted to bring up the sorcerer. The sorcerer has a spell, and basically anybody who has barrier law has this, but barrier law has a spell called Shadow Wall. Shadow Wall creates a black, insubstantial wall up to 20 by 20 by 1 that light cannot pass into or through, i.e., it does not hinder movement but blocks vision. Note that this provides full, soft cover. This will not block dark vision, which does not require light to function. And then down here, he has Shadow Wall 2, except the duration is now 6 minutes, not concentration. Other than that, everything else is the same. I'm going to use regular Shadow Wall because he has actually, he has the same amount. I don't really need it to last for 6 minutes. I just need it to last for a little while. So the plan, I'm going to close this, their tactical plan is to cast Shadow Wall like right here. So it's on the edge of their light, of the bad guy's light. They won't notice it. Like if you put Shadow Wall right here, they're going to be like, what the fuck just happened? But you put it right here, and you create a wall, and then everybody can move up to it. And when the people are ready, boom, you can attack with advantage. I don't mean advantage in a D&D sense. I mean advantage in like there's the actual ambush skill sets, and the rogue and the ranger both have that. So the sorcerer, once getting close enough, let's double check the range on that. Range is 50 feet, so we need to make a little measurement tool. Okay, so he needs to be another 10 feet forward. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna we'll go 15, just to be sure. And then yeah, we want to basically have it be probably right there. So we want to make sure it's exactly 50 feet. Okay. So here's how we're going to cast this. I'm going to use Argon, the combat hub, because it's useful. I'm going to cast under Barrier Law. He's going to cast Shadow Wall 1. I'm going to make sure to move myself over here, and I'm going to clear the chat just so I'm not fucking around with that stuff. Okay. He's using 2 hands, normal voice. I already rolled perception for the Saracens, and none of them rolled fairly well, so I'm not terribly worried about that. But that isn't something the players technically would know. This is, you know, me metagaming. So I'm going to say he's going to try and whisper the spell. That is going to give him a negative to it, and this might not work. Uh-oh. Ooh, it succeeds. Alrighty. So now what I need to do, because this part is not automated yet, is I need to make a little wall. So what I'm going to do, instead of making a visual effect, which I could do that, I am going to make, what is it, ethereal, sight, and hearing. Okay, so this is only going to block sight. We'll just have to remember that it blocks everything else. Or that it only blocks sight, it doesn't block hearing. Okay, so that being set up, now let's look at what, those are guys, and then if I click on them, no, click on the wrong thing, that's good. I look smart. Alright. Let's begin the plan. So the rogue, he is going to continue to creep this way. That is 35 feet. That's probably 30 seconds of him slowly and laboriously getting to his point. I'm going to have our Saracen here do a perception, awareness. Yeah, see, he has no idea. More likely. Ooh, 65. Okay, so 37. I will have the rogue. Oh, nice. That's a nice little graphic. I'm going to have the rogue just to double check his subterfuge. Stalking, yeah, he's going to dominate this. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, the rogue's going to have a good time with that. Alright, so the Weremonk, he's going to position himself right here. I'm going to move him right there. And then we're going to change his, we're going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so he's looking this way. He can't really see a whole lot. He's kind of aware of a guy over there. But he understands he's hiding behind a pillar, and then there's another pillar blocking him. I'm going to actually see if he can sneak as well. Because if he can sneak up to that other pillar... Alright, 29. So that's 41. Since it's a failure, but it's an opposed roll, and I'm doing this kind of the wrong way. Alright, these three. Now, they are, quote-unquote, actively looting, so they're picking up cups and random crap like that, but they also have helmets on. So, let's see what happens. Oh, no. 57. Okay. So this is going to probably be a situation where, as the monk is crossing from here to here, this guy's going to hear him and see and spin around to see him. Now, as the monk is doing that, the ranger is probably going to move to right. I think the ranger's going to move this way. And the sorcerer, I'm going to put the sorcerer near the ranger. The paladin is going to be right in the middle of all this stuff. So he's going to go It's right about there. Remember, our wall is right there. We can't see it on here, but when we switch, there it is right there. Okay. And then I think the mage is going to be here, and the cleric will have moved here. So basically, I've got people protecting, and the paladin's whole idea is he's going to stand there and be like, "Come get me! Come get me!" All right. Now the initial plan was to have the rogue probably sneak over and murk this guy, while the ranger takes out this guy. But we have a stitch as we priorly established. The warrior monk is going to be probably right about there when he gets noticed by this guy. And that is going to bring us to combat. Now, obviously, if this is with a bunch of players, there's a lot of conversation, there's some back and forth, etc. Me just demoing this, I gotta make, GM fiat. I gotta go like, well, this is the way it is because I said so. All right, I'm gonna clear the chat because it's about to get busy. We're going to initiate combat, and we're gonna roll all our stuff. We're gonna roll all the things. All right, we have everything figured out, and now it is time to begin combat. Beginning counter. Okay, so the first person up is the ranger. That's cool. Now, the Saracen's aware of this dude, not aware of the ranger. So the ranger is going to target the Saracen. I'm going to have to move this over here so that's out of the way of my... Now, there's a skill called ambush under subterfuge. Ambush ranged. And we're going to see what this does. Okay, I'm actually screwing something up here. I need to actually discuss what is what's going to be happening. So we get one action point per phase. The ranger's at the top. Now, in a situation in which there's a bunch of players and there's a GM, basically everybody should probably decide what they're going to do every round before they actually do it, because what they're going to do is going to dictate how many action points it takes, and that's going to determine when they actually act. So I need to back up here a bit. Yes, the ranger was ready to ambush. On the sorcerer's turn, as like a free action, the sorcerer's going to stop concentrating on that one spell, the Shadow Wall spell. So that's going to just be gone. I'm going to call that a 0 action point because they're just going to stop concentrating. That's easy enough. All right, the ranger's intent is to shoot this guy. The rogue's intent is to move around this corner, and their intent was to get up here and attack this guy, but they're going to come around this corner, see this dude, and that's probably going to change their plan. So that's 1, 2, 3 action points to then see this guy. And this guy's probably going to head this way because that's where the alert's going to come from. This guy's going to yell, "Hey, there's a guy!" Blah blah blah. All right. Anyway, so I've got the rogue figured out. The paladin's job, he'll start making noise, like he'll move 5 feet and yell to draw attention to him. These guys will look towards him, and they wouldn't see him except the sorcerer again is going to drop that wall, and then this Saracen soldier right there, he's going to start coming this way. Now, I think I'm going to have him come this way and this way. So unfortunately for the rogue, that means he's going to have a 2-on-1 situation, possibly. The warrior monk, he's going to try and get to here. Although honestly, now that he's spotted, he's probably going to fall back. He's going to probably fall back to here and try to draw more melee guys in with him and the paladin. Because if he goes up here by himself, the paladin's got to travel this whole distance. So that's like 2-3 rounds of just the paladin hard charging, so to speak, just to back up the warrior monk. So this is where party cohesion, balance, tactics kind of come into play. If you want to be, Captain America, the first Avenger who goes out on his own in this game, you are going to get chopped the frick up. So Warrior Monk's going to fall back to around here. A mage, I'd have to check the ranges, which I'm going to do right now. Okay, the mage can cast a 75-foot range spell. So he's probably going to start preparing like a firebolt just to nuke a guy with the intention of being this guy he's going to attack. But he's just like in the first few action rounds, he's muttering, he's casting spells. But he's preparing to cast his spell. And the cleric is probably going to. Oh, here's the mage. The cleric, I measured from the wrong person. Crap. So the mage is out of range for anything 75 feet or less. So we'll see what he has. If he, well, let's bring him up. Might as well. Come on, mage. Okay, there he is. Let's look at his spells. And this is the thing the player would be doing while deciding what they're going to do. Okay, so I'm looking for range, 25 for an ice bolt. Oh, that's ice law. Let's go for fire law. 25, 100 for fireball. 75 for firebolt. Alrighty. He will do a fireball because that'll be fun. So his intention is to cast fireball in the general vicinity of the bad guys. Got it. And then we've got bad guy. They're going to be moving. Cleric will probably be moving next to the paladin because they are, well, they are a cleric. They are wearing armor. They have a big hammer. They know how to use it. So like the cleric, the paladin, and the warrior monk are going to be my three tanks, so to speak. All right, so I think I have a good idea of what's going to go on. So first things first, ranger, right? We're going to bring up the Argon tab again. I think I've selected the wrong guy. There we go. All right, what's up? I may have goofed and not given the ranger gear. I did just make this character. Nope, they're there. Oh, duh. The silly mistakes. Alrighty, now we've got the ranger properly selected. The ranger's intent is to attack this dude. Now, as a GM, as this would have been a prepared. I'm ready to attack at a moment's notice. So the moment this guy goes, rah, the ranger's going to attack. So what I'm going to look at really quickly, I'm going to draw up on our action phases. Right, we're going to look down here. This is the full explanation of actions. Melee, range attack 1 to 3. Okay, so she's gonna the ranger automatically. I think of rangers as female because my sister always plays rangers. Ranger's gonna snap off a quick attack, so like a single one. Now this is not a full, so this is gonna be kind of a weird thing. We're gonna say foe is surprised because not expecting that, and let's see what happens. That is a shitty shot. Yeah, okay. So that's it for that one. Rogue. Okay, so the rogue is going to 5 foot because the rogue's base movement rate, according to the thing, is 19, so a little less than 5 feet, but we'll call it 5 feet. Alrighty, that's it for the rogue. Paladin, 5 feet forward. Rah, look at me, look at me, rah! Ah, fight me, you bastards. Oh, I wanted to point out real quickly. Notice how the paladin can't see anything over there. He knows they were there because he saw them earlier, but our wall effect does indeed block that, which is kind of useful. That being said, it is now the sorcerer's turn. Like I said, the very first thing the sorcerer was going to do was to stop concentrating on that. Boom. And then the sorcerer is probably going to prepare a spell. Let's see what spell. A lot of these have some pretty decent ranges. Ooh, major pain. That sounds fun. Causes loss of 25% target remaining concussive hits. These heals are hit durations up. Ooh, okay, so we're gonna do major pain. Major pain. Like, it convinces them that they've suffered grievous injury, and it takes half their hit points away. And then if you drop them in that time period, congratulations, you win. Okay, so he's going to prepare to cast Major Pain. Again, free move, dropping the stupid concentration. And my dog is keeping up with his tradition of barking anytime I'm recording. Saracen Soldier moves 5 feet. Next, Warrior Monk. Okay, he was going to go to here, but now that he's been spotted, he's going to fall back. And so we're going to go 5 feet that way. Saracen Soldier, 5 feet. He totally went the wrong direction, but hey, that works. Mage. Mage is preparing a spell. Fireball. Alright, and then this is one of the unseen Saracen soldiers. The cleric is going to start moving towards the paladin. This guy is going to move 5 feet that way. Alrighty. Now we are at the top of the next round, and the ranger is probably going to try and shoot somebody else, but it's going to take... I'll do it on the 4th round, so that will be 3 action points. Only a negative 25 for that first shot. And that's it for the ranger for now. Alright, missed ya, rogue. Alrighty. He does not yet see this dude, so that's important. Paladin. He's going to move another 5 feet forward. Well, yelling and getting their attention, so he is not being stealthy. Sorcerer is still preparing that spell. Saracen is moving 5 feet. Warrior Monk is moving 5 feet that way. Saracen Soldier, where are you at? You're that one. Okay, got it. Magician. Preparing that fireball spell. Moving to fight. Moving to assist. Moving to fight. And moving to fight. That takes us to phase 3. Again, rangers, drawing their weapon and gonna fire. Actually, that's right. Pulling a arrow is an action point, I believe. So instead of having a 3-action attack, it's going to be a 2-action attack. Let me double check that real quickly. Getting item from ground, dropping item, shifting item. Drawing ammo and loading is 1, yes. So, okay, so this is the round where the arrow is now loaded in the string and ready to go. Next round. Rogue. It's at this point where the rogue is going to see this guy. This guy's not going to see the rogue, though. Paladin, another 5-foot step while making noise. Sorcerer is finalizing the preparations for its spell. Saracen is starting to move that way. I think he's going to go that way. I think the other two are going to go the other direction. Warrior Monk, just in time, meets with his pal. Saracen, he's going south. Mage is finalizing their spell preparations. This guy's moving that way. Cleric is 5 to the north. This guy's moving that way. And the last one, he's moving that way. Alright, Ranger is now firing. And this is one action for the snapshot at the very beginning, one action for loading. And so that is -2 or -50. Foe does not have cover. I think that's about it. So let's go. Let's see what happens. It's a solid 72. That's a good. It looks like we got a crit. Let's see what happens. This is where the game starts to get fun. Okay, so he suffers 13 piercing and a B crit. The B strike with flat fails to produce penetration, but foe feels the blow. Okay, so that's a little weird, but like it gets hit in the stomach and absorbs a lot of damage, but it's mostly bruising and stuff like that. And then we've got fatigue. That's an important thing to talk about. So we're applying damage. If we mouse over him, we can see that he has taken some damage. And that is it for the Ranger for this round. Next turn, the Rogue, still undetected. Oh, I need to probably make the... I should fix that part. This is the part I need to pay attention to. He's no longer stalking. He's no longer stalking because he got seen and started this whole thing. But the Rogue is still rocking a solid fight. Now, this guy might see the Rogue before the Rogue is able to kill this guy. We'll see what happens, though. Paladin. I think the Paladin is going to go that direction. The Warrior Monk's going to look that way, and the Cleric's going to be in the middle. That's sort of the tentative plan. The Sorcerer is now about to drop a fat beat. Now, the Sorcerer sees... I think I'm going to target that guy. And the Sorcerer is going to attack with his spell. Mind Destruction. Major Pain. I'm going to shout. Didn't do any extra prep that way. Subtlety, not subtle. There we go. Let's see what happens. 74. Damn. Okay, so he needs to roll. We'll go for channeling. Saracen Soldier. Okay, so he needs to roll resistance check. Target is 80. Yeah, it's already low. All right, let's see what happens. Oh no. He makes it. Ooh. All right, and what happens with that? Okay. He makes a save, so I don't think he takes any damage. He shrugs it off. And that brings us to this guy, who at that point in time, I'm going to have him... Okay, so he's moved. He's out of actions. He's not going to have an opportunity to see this guy until he makes a perception test next round. Let's see what happens later on. Warrior Monk. Okay, so the first things first, this Warrior Monk is going to spin around so you can face foes. And I got a while, so he's going to be drawing a weapon. He's going to actually draw a sling. So, final action for the round, drawing a sling. There we go, it's drawn. A dagger was not drawn. Right. So that is it for him. Saracen Soldier. Mage. Now, he had a fireball planned, and he was going to be casting on this guy, so let's see what happens here. Fireball gets to be a little fun. Always a solid, fun, good time. Alright, so first things first, we're going to roll and make sure this happens. 61. We're going to set the AoE template. Why isn't this doing it? Am I goofing on something? Okay, so he's going to drop it on this guy and this guy. Now. Oh. SCR? I know I've done this before. What's it to... This is where it gets a little weird. See if there's something on the character sheet. Might have goofed on something. Oh, that's a failure.
Vorinkeshtala.
Alright, fucking A. Oh, there's... Duh. Let's try this again. I screwed it up. Fireball attack. I've managed to screw it up. Okay, he's actually I'm gonna have him shout, because it's fun. He didn't fast cast. Alright, so this gives me a chance to... 44.
Vorinkeshtala.
Oh, there we go. Set template. Okay, because I didn't target him, that's why they didn't do it correctly. Got it. Okay. And there's the fireball. And here we go. Oh, damn. Those guys are going to have a bad... Oh, he may have just... Yeah. That is 48, 50, 64 points of damage. So that guy's probably toast. That guy's probably having a real bad time. Let's see what happens. Alright. So he's at negative 24. Yeah, he's toast. Didn't apply the damage to him. So that was 48, 49, 50, 64. That is... Okay, that is 1 hit point. It didn't apply to both. That is weird. So we're targeting this guy. Oh, it's right there. Duh. Alright, so this guy actually should have 1 hit point left. And this gives me a chance to bring up something really fun. So I wasn't too up and up on some of these things, but let's talk about it. All right, so our boy here, if we bring up his conditions, actually we can just go to conditions. Duh. He's staggered and prone. Okay, so if you're prone, it takes 2 action points to stand up, unless you make an acrobatics check, in which case it's 1. Now, staggered means you automatically lose 1 action point. So being staggered and prone means you've lost 3 action points. At the very beginning of the round, which we are currently on the round, um, he's knocked down. It's going to take him all the way to phase 4 before he is standing up and able to do anything. Now, him being ways away, uh, he's going to probably stand up and make a 5-foot step, and then he's done. Now, that being said, he's also stunned. He's fatigued. This guy right here, he is effectively out of play. He also has 1 hit point left, so he's pretty much done. This guy is really done, and we're going to actually mark him as so. Where's our boy here? Here he is. He's dead. Bye-bye. All right, so that being said, that's the mage. The mage is done. That was a very solid maneuver. This guy right here, he probably sees an explosion off to his right. It's like, what the hell was that? Meanwhile, he's continuing to move. The cleric, still charging forward, 5 feet at a time. Now I could do stuff where like I'm gonna actually charge. You can actually like jog, and that increases your movement rate. But right now, just to keep it kind of simple, I'm just doing the 5-foot step thing. Mostly because I want to explain how the phases work and how tactically this is a fun time. All right, so this guy is going to go that way. Now, back here to the ranger. It is phase 2. Now, the ranger did attack last time around. So the ranger is preparing to attack again. But honestly, there's very few targets that the ranger can actually see. I don't think the ranger can honestly see that guy. I mean, he might have some serious cover. He could see this guy, and he could pick him off. And this column is only a couple feet high, so the ranger can see this dude. But again, half. Honestly, I think the ranger, judgment call, the ranger's gonna fill this guy full of arrows, or at least attempt to, and that's gonna happen at the end of the round. And again, has to reload, so it's not going to be a 4 action point attack. It's reload, wait, fire. Alrighty. And now we have a rogue who sees this thing going on. The rogue is going to just make a 5-foot step that way because, yeah. Next up, paladin. So the paladin sees this dude. 1, 2, 3. He's just ready an attack and see if this Saracen gets to him. Saracen. If the Saracen can get to him, he's going to hit him. Probably the same thing with the warrior monk and this guy. Alright, sorcerer. Probably preparing another spell. Line of sight on this guy. Saw this dude running. So kind of focusing his directions over here, his intentions over here, to drop a spell on phase 4. That spell is probably going to be Shock Bolt. Yeah, we'll try Shock Bolt, because by that time these guys will be in range. Alright, so the sorcerer has done their thing. Saracen. Okay, so this Saracen needs to make a awareness check. Okay, I'm gonna say the rogue is out in the open. everybody's aware of fighting, etc. First thing, the first thing I'm going to do is establish what the rogue's current subterfuge is. I'm just kind of fiddling around trying to find numbers. Okay, so 76 minus like 50. So that's 50, 63. So he needs a 63 or higher for him to be aware of the rogue. Otherwise, he's going to like walk right into him. Oh, damn. Yeah. This is why perception is really important, everybody. So, Saracen does a check, doesn't see the rogue. Guess the rogue is kind of still hiding in some shadows or something. Or he's looking, like he's moving this way, but he's looking at these guys because the paladin's over here shouting. So he's not really paying attention to the rogue. That's my thought process logic for that. Okay, warrior monk. Again, he readied a sling last time around. Now he's loading the sling. Saracen soldier. This guy right here, he ain't doing stuff. He ain't doing anything. He is staggered, prone, blah, blah, blah. He's not doing anything this round. Mage is probably preparing some kind of firebolt spell. He's looking at this guy right here. Right, our boy here moves 5 feet. Cleric moves 5 feet. Saracen soldier. He's moving 5 feet. He sees the paladin. He's going to try and engage the paladin. Ranger. This is round 3 phase 1. Ranger is probably going to shoot this guy at some point. He knows he's heading this way, so the ranger's probably readying to fire when bad guy gets in this general vicinity right here. Alright, rogue. I think the rogue is going to step to right there. And paladin, he's preparing to attack once our boy here gets within range, which may or may not actually happen this round. Yeah, it's a fey. Okay. Hey, well, we'll see what happens. Actually, I have a spell. I should have done some kind of inspiration thing at the beginning of the combat, but oh well. Sorcerer. Preparing a spell to nuke this guy's brain. Saracen is stepping up. Probably at this point, he is definitely going to notice the rogue, so we're going to take the rogue's stalking. I got to click the right thing. There we go. Stalking has been removed. Alright, warrior monk. So he's drawn it, he's loaded it, and again, this guy is trying to stand up. Mage preparing a spell. Saracen moving forward. Cleric is moving forward. Saracen is moving this way. Okay, I've screwed something up. Because somehow, did I click the wrong fucking thing? Weird. Okay, because it was round 3 phase 3, and now it's round 4 phase 1. Alrighty, I'll have to look at the video and see what I did. That being said, preparing to attack. Rogue. Hey, the rogue is going to attack. With his short sword. That is apparently a crit. It's a decent crit. Applying the damage. Oh, I fucked up. I did not... Well, it's top of the round, so yeah. This should have happened at the end of the round. Damn it. This is the issue I have with tracking this stuff. Alright, so Paladin, he's going to make a 5-foot step. And then he's going to hit this guy when he moves closer. Sorcerer can't quite see this guy, preparing his spell. Saracen now sees the rogue. The Saracen is going to attack the rogue at the end of the round with a full attack. Warrior Monk winds up his sling. Next phase will be slinging him. This guy can now stand up, but then he's done after that. And prone isn't on there, so we'll just unprone him. Okay, so he's no longer staggered. He's no longer stunned. He's no longer prone. He's still at negative 60, and he's pretty much done for the round. And he's got 1 hit point. Mage is preparing a bolt spell. This guy's moving this way. Cleric is going to move that way. This guy's going to move this way, putting him in range of the Paladin, who's going to hit him next time. Okay, so Ranger is going to attack. See, it says round 5, phase 1 of 4. It doesn't... That is weird. I should also be resetting initiative, but it's not doing that. Alright. Alright, we're just going to attack this guy because he's been waiting. We're going to give him partial cover because of all the crap. And he is technically firing into melee. Let's go. 74, minus some stuff. There's a crit here. 16 plus 24. Oh, forearm bones, right side. That's gotta suck. Alrighty, that is it for the Ranger. He should be done with between that and reloading. I guess we're on round 5. The round system is getting me goofed up. Let's shank him and see what happens. 66. Odd 5. Poke the belly. Foe starts losing blood. Alright, we have a bleeding crit. That is good. Now, this guy has 28 hit points left. And under conditions, you can see light severity bleeding. Next turn, Paladin. As promised, Paladin is going to two-handed chop. Two-handed. He hasn't moved. He's been patiently waiting. This is time to shine. Let's cleave somebody in half. Ooh, damn, we may have just cleaved somebody in half. Okay, that is 21. C crit slash C. Chopped knee, severs leg. That was just brutal. So, yeah, this guy's done. Oh, he has a hit point left. He's also prone, falling down. He's going to bleed out. He's done. Next up, Sorcerer. I'm probably going to attack this guy next time around. The mage is probably going to do the same thing because that's the only guy left on the board, really. I mean, this guy still has some hit points. Why doesn't he attack? See if he attacks the rogue. $44. Jeez. Alright, we'll have the monk hit him with a sling. 63. That's going to hurt somebody. Straight 40. Owie. Alright, this guy, honestly, he has a hit point. He's going to start retreating. It's about the only thing left. He's just jacked up. Alright, mage. I could probably make him an argument and see that guy. He might have cover, but we're going to lightning attack this guy. Shock bolt. I really enjoy shock bolt. All right. Preparation. No, he is shouting. Let's go. Oh, 81.
Vorinkesh Talar.
Okay, that did not pull up a crit. That's weird, because like Firebolt does. So did I screw that up somewhere? Oh, that was me properly casting it. Duh, I forgot. And this is the attack. Oh, shockingly ineffective. Okay, well, it still does something. Next turn. Saracen. Charging towards his inevitable death. Cleric. 5-foot move. This is the guy who's going to bleed out. This is going to be messy. So he has 1 hit point. Let's see what happens. He's now -4. He's done. See, just right to round 6, phase 1 of 4. So the phases are not working properly. I'll have to look at that and figure some stuff out. Alright. Ranger's going to attack this guy later on. Rogue is going to attack this guy right now. Why not? 25. That is a crit. 33. Oh, he sighs in relief because it only stings a little bit. Still. He only has 16 hit points left. Alright, Paladin. He's probably going to do a 5-foot step that away, facing the oncoming threat. Sorcerer. Prepare a spell. What spell would he prepare? He'll do the same thing. He'll do Shock Bolt. Shouting. Oh no. That is spell failure. We're rolling for spell failure. Oh damn. That's a misfire. Right, Saracen soldier, he's targeting the rogue. He's gonna try and take the rogue out. Okay, so free action. He's going to drop that. Five-foot step. Next action, punch a motherfucker. Actually, I'm going to probably switch to throws because those are fun. All right, I'm just going to take this guy out of play because, yeah, he's toast. Mage, he just went. Saracen, okay, he's going to target this guy. And the Saracen's been moving this whole time, so -2. Go. And -50, you know what I mean. That's a miss. Cleric. I don't think that's enough room for the cleric to swing. 6 feet. Well, the cleric might have range because the way this thing works. So that's like 3 feet and some change. Let's look at the Warmatic. It's 5 feet long. Yeah, he might have range. You know what? I will give it a swing and find out. Stunned foe. Using two-handed. Swing. He is in range. Oh, that is going to be a hefty, painful strike. Ooh. Hand takes blow without any bones breaking. Foe drops anything held in the hand. So right side. So it's holding pain and anger. Muscle in foe's arm tears slightly as elbow moved by impact. So this is another one of those. This guy's shit. Apparently he's also knocked prone. Oh, he's, yeah, way done. Yeah. Why is he prone? Because he's dead, Jim. Yeah, the turn thing is just... I'm using next turn, I'm using end encounter, next round. Let's just use that. Let's see what happens. It's already screwed up, so I might as well. It won't let me. And this will take us here. This will take us there. Okay, so something's going on clearly. With that being said, Ranger's going to try and attack this guy. He's got some solid cover. So let's look at this. It's full. I'm going to say it's half and it's hard because it's columns. You can still sort of see part of him, but not all of it. He is attacking in melee. Let's see what happens. A 91. It's a crit. It's a good crit. Hey, it's not the best crit, but, apply some damage. Next up is the rogue. Oh, I should probably target him, yeah. And this is probably going to finish this guy off, and we're going to call it a day after this combat. Nothing really super exciting. I mean, yeah, guy got his leg cut off at the knee, but no, like, Hassan shop moments. But I do believe this is telling us our boy is dead. Yeah, he's down. It applies prone, but doesn't apply dead, which is just kind of funny. All right, and that is it for our dudes. And that was apparently the guy holding onto the torch. Good to know. Alrighty, well, we are going to end combat. The ending of the encounter. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is turn that off. The magical everybody gets restored button. Okay, bam, done, cool. So, what did we learn? Well, we learned that the action phase system is subtly complex, I'll say. And I'll have to look at the video and see if I was doing something wrong, like why it was advancing round to round, not phase to phase. That might be a thing to draw Bob's attention to on a possible bug, um, or feature, or me just being stupid. One of those things. Uh, let's get our bad guys back in place. Actors resume positions. They're also all invisible, so I'll need to address that as well. There's 4 of them. All right, we'll get our party together. And together they form some kind of Power Rangers monster. Oh, that's the one we're missing. And we'll reset the stage back down here for next time. Alrighty, everybody. This has been Tactical Onion on Dice at the Table, stumbling through the rules of Rulemaster Unified by Iron Crown Enterprises, and this was Foundry Virtual Tabletop. And the Rolemaster Unified rules were written by Bob Morris and coded and presented and all that. And we're just learning how to play this and all the intricacies within Foundry. And I'm hopefully building towards an actual campaign, and that'll be an actual play campaign on this channel coming up sometime in the next couple of months. I know I said months. I really want this to be like, I don't want to be fly by the seat of my pants on this. I want everything set up. I'm kind of I try to be a detail-oriented guy in that regard. Alrighty, I will see you guys next time when we post a new thing on Dice at the Table and Tactical Onion. See you.